Should the Chicago Bulls pursue New York Knicks center Mitchell Robinson in free agency? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA here to talk about the Chicago Bulls. So I'm going to be covering the Bulls like a blanket during this free agency period. You do not want to miss out, folks. Ton of content, all right, coming your way. And when we're talking about free agency, one of the guys whose name has come up consistently, and I can't believe I haven't made a video about this until now, but better late than never, is Mitchell Robinson. Okay, Mitchell Robinson, center for the New York Knicks, set to be an unrestricted free agent this free agency period. Okay, so teams can just flat out sign him. He's not restricted. The Knicks won't have the ability to match. Now, of course, he can always re-sign with the Knicks, but he is open to joining other teams because of the fact that he is an unrestricted free agent. Now, should the Bulls pursue him? First question. Second question, will the Bulls pursue him? Third question, will the Bulls actually be able to get him? Okay, so I'm going to answer all of that in that order. Let's start with the first question. Should the Chicago Bulls pursue Mitchell Robinson? The answer is absolutely. Mitchell Robinson is fits the main need of what the Bulls are lacking, which is one of their biggest weaknesses, interior defense. Mitchell Robinson's a guy who is a shot blocking, rim protecting center, right? With the Knicks last year, played 72 games, started 62 of them, averaged 8.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, shot 76% from the field, about almost 2 blocks a game. And that's what he gives you, all right? So Mitchell Robinson, again, great rebounder, great shot blocker, interior presence, interior defense, efficient shooting the basketball, 76% from the field. That's ridiculous, folks, 76%, okay? But obviously, what are the weaknesses? Very clear, can't shoot a lick. Again, he's a rim-running center. He is not a threat at all from anywhere. He's a poor free throw shooter, 48% from the free throw line last season. And so that's what he is, all right? If you want to compare him to other NBA players, think of a early to / prime Tyson Chandler, early to prime DeAndre Jordan, guys like that, okay? Rim-running defensive big centers. That is what Mitchell Robinson is. And the Bulls, again, lack in those areas. He would help because of the fact that those are his strengths, right? He would come in and would be either, again, work with me here, either he would be a backup to Vooch if Vooch can't play the 4, and if Vooch does play the 4, which I'm not saying he would, but Mitchell Robinson's 7 feet, Nikola Vucevic is 6'10", it is possible, if not likely, then you could put Vooch at the 4 and Robinson at the 5, because Robinson can't play the 4. There's no doubt, okay? He is a center, that's it, okay? So either Mitch comes off the bench to back up Vooch, or he plays alongside Vooch as a starter, and you make Vooch the 4, and obviously you'd have DeMar, Zach, and Alonzo as your 1 through 3. So that's the first question, is should they pursue Mitchell Robinson? The answer is yes, even with all his shortcomings with shooting, scoring. We don't need that. Even with the shortcomings at the free throw line, can live with that because he gives you interior presence, defense, rebounding. That's what we need. All right, question number 2. All right, will the Bulls pursue him in free agency? I believe they will because, like I said, he's a guy who's young. He's still only 24. So if you sign him, and if the Bulls do sign him, I presume it would be a 4-year, 5-year deal. You're still getting him in his prime years, right? You're still getting him in those 4 or 5 years that would be in his prime. Like he'd be 28 or 29 by the time the contract ended. So I fully expect the Bulls to pursue Mitchell Robinson. Now, the final question, will they actually get him? This one is the trickiest, okay? So from reading reports, what I've gathered is Mitchell Robinson, his projected contract based off of what executives and, reporters are saying that he is going to get is somewhere between the range of $12 to $13 million a year. Okay, that's what they feel his appropriate value is, okay? But at the end of the day, you are worth what someone is willing to pay you, right? So we'll see what teams throw at Mitchell Robinson. The problem with the Bulls is they don't have any cap space. So the only thing the Bulls can do is sign Mitchell Robinson through an exception. They do have their mid-level exception, and that has the potential to be about $10 million. Okay, so they would be able to throw at most to Mitchell Robinson $10 million per year. So we could talk about a 4-year, $40 million, 5-year, $50 million. Actually, I don't know if they can offer him a 5. Usually, free agents that are not your own, you can only offer a 4-year deal. So we're talking 4-year, $40 million deal. Very happy to bring in Mitch on a deal like that. I'd be ecstatic, but there are other teams that could throw more at him. And maybe they will. And we didn't even talk about, obviously, the Knicks could bring him back. They can re-sign him for 5 years. So the part about will the Bulls get him, I'm doubtful, because I just feel like there's teams, that always happens every year for agency, folks. Some desperate teams throw the bag at some players that, again, not worth it. To me, Mitchell Robinson, $10 to $12 million is right around what I would pay him. 15 is too much. Anything more than that, too much. So if someone wants to pay that for Mitchell Robinson, be my guest. I'm not doing it. So if we can get him at that mid-level exception, which is what we can offer him, fantastic, great. If not, then I'm not going to pay more than that, and I'll let somebody else do it. So there you have it, folks. My thoughts on Mitchell Robinson and the possibility of him being a Chicago Bulls in free agency. Let's see what happens. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. As always, thanks for watching.